The episode begins with our protagonist, Maomao, picking flowers in the garden. She then heads to head lady Veiten Pengyun and asks where Lady Aduo is. Pengyun replies that Lady Aduo was invited for tea elsewhere. Maomao, determined, states she needs to clear some doubts and invites Pengyun inside. As they talk, Pengyun mentions that all palace duties have been completed, so what is there to discuss? Maomao reveals that on New Year's Day, a new consort will replace Lady Aduo, because she can never bear children. Maomao then reveals that during Lady Aduo's childbirth, her father was the physician. Shocked, Pengyun listens as Maomao recounts that Lady Aduo's child died shortly after birth, and her uterus was removed, leaving her in deep sorrow. Maomao accuses Pengyun of being responsible for the child's death, as she had administered honey to the newborn despite knowing it was harmful. Pengyun confesses, overwhelmed with guilt, explaining how she admired Lady Aduo and was devastated by her mistake. Maomao decides to keep part of the truth hidden, ensuring that Pengyun's crimes remain linked as one to lessen her punishment. Meanwhile, Lady Aduo prepares to leave the palace, and Maomao contemplates how things will change. As Lady Aduo departs, Lady Lishu, deeply attached to her, tearfully begs her not to go. Lady Aduo embraces her with a gentle smile, and with that, the episode concludes, leaving behind an air of sorrow and finality. The episode begins with Jinshi discussing Pengyun's execution with his assistant. He learns that not only was Pengyun sentenced to death, but her entire family, including those involved in their honey business, was punished. Many of their children, about 80 of them, were working in the palace and would now be expelled. This troubles Jinshi, as it means Maomao might also be forced to leave since her father was a businessman. Meanwhile, Maomao's friend informs her about the situation, and she panics. Not because she fears leaving the palace, but because she dreads returning to the brothel. If she has no income, the brothel's madam might sell her. Desperate, she rushes to find Jinshi and asks if she is on the list. When Jinshi hands her the list, she is shocked to see her name. Instead of pleading, she tells Jinshi she will accept any work, even poison testing, but he mistakenly believes she wants to leave. With a heavy heart, Jinshi gives her money and lets her go. A week later, Jinshi is miserable, barely eating or sleeping. Meanwhile, Maomao returns to the brothel, where she is dressed up for a performance, though she lacks any skills. At the Rao event, she notices a familiar voice. It's Jinshi, looking sorrowful. When she approaches him, he recognizes her and is stunned to see her in such attire. Realizing she never wanted to leave, Jinshi buys her back, and the episode ends with Maomao returning to the palace. The episode begins with Maomao packing her belongings with the help of a brothel girl, as Jinshi has purchased her freedom, and she will return to the palace with him tomorrow. Maomao refuses to take too many clothes, saying her job is only to taste food and prepare medicines. The girl insists that looking good is important in the palace. Later, Maomao visits her father, who warns her not to take too many medicinal herbs, as it could make people suspicious. The next day, Maomao, beautifully dressed, shocks everyone, including Jinshi, who arrives to take her. However, instead of the inner palace, she is taken to Jinshi's residence, where she will now live and work. A maid greets her, and Maomao explores her new surroundings, realizing her room is similar in size to her previous one. Jinshi then gives her a stack of books, instructing her to study for the court lady exam, as he does not want her to work as a servant. Later in the kitchen, Maomao learns that previous maids were dismissed for negligence. She helps with meals and accompanies Jinshi to observe his work, realizing he is much busier than she assumed. While wandering, Maomao encounters jealous court ladies who question why Jinshi favors her. To silence them, she shows an old injury and claims Jinshi supports her financially. Later, she fails the exam but is thrilled to find rare herbs. However, as she nears the palace wall, a woman suddenly strikes her, warning her to stay away, ending the episode. The episode begins with Maomao contemplating how to grow medicinal herbs in the outer court, since her father had previously cultivated them in the palace. Just then, Jinshi's maid arrives, reminding Maomao about an unfinished task, prompting her to rush off while thinking how closely the maid monitors her. Later, Jinshi summons Maomao, informing her that two consorts, Lady Gyoku and Lady Lishu, have requested her services to educate them on proper care. Maomao initially dismisses it as a joke, but is shocked when Jinshi shows her the written requests. She packs her belongings, realizing she cannot refuse their favor. Arriving at the palace, she finds four consorts waiting: Lady Lishu, Lady Gyoku, Lady Lila, and the new consort, Lady Lolan, replacing Lady Aduo. She appears distinctly southern, and Maomao wonders how she looks without makeup. She then educates them using a book, sharing secrets for better well-being, energizing the consorts. Meanwhile, Jinshi and his assistant eavesdrop outside, unable to discern the conversation. Afterward, Maomao returns to Jinshi's quarters, surprised at how much responsibility he carries despite being a eunuch. She later heads outside to gather herbs when Lihaku appears, investigating a recent storage room explosion. Inside, Maomao finds a burnt potato in a pipe, deducing the cause. To prove her theory, she demonstrates how flour dust can create a dust explosion, causing Lihaku's hair to catch fire. She quickly douses him with water, explaining how airborne flour ignited due to someone smoking inside. With the mystery solved, the episode ends. The episode begins with palace workers discussing the warehouse fire, mentioning that Lihaku was assisted by Jinshi's sharp-witted maid, Maomao. Meanwhile, Jinshi's assistant hands Maomao an old report about a food poisoning case involving vinegar fish, which put a nobleman into a coma. Maomao is shocked, questioning how vinegar fish could cause such a reaction. As she investigates, she learns that both victims loved exotic foods, especially pufferfish, though their organs were discarded, indicating they avoided its poisonous parts. However, one official fully consumed his meal and later died from respiratory failure. Maomao asks to visit the kitchen where the meal was prepared. While inspecting ingredients, she takes particular interest in seaweed used in the dish. The master's younger brother, visibly agitated, orders them to leave. Outside, Maomao takes a sample, suspecting the seaweed's origin is questionable. She later conducts a test, soaking one piece in hot water while keeping another dry, and explains that certain types of seaweed absorb toxins when stored improperly. To prove her point, she eats a piece, shocking everyone, especially Jinshi, who immediately forces her to take an emetic. Maomao confirms the seaweed was the cause, leading to the younger brother's confession. He poisoned his brother out of jealousy. Later, another official approaches Jinshi, seeking Maomao's expertise on a cryptic will left by a deceased craftsman. Jinshi, amused, listens, as the nobleman hopes that Maomao can decode the hidden message, bringing the episode to an end.